The presence of yoga has grown in football from high school to the NFL. Yoga offers physical, mental, emotional, and energetic benefits to players.
Yoga allows me to work on flexibility and balance, which are both important components of injury prevention.
Yoga improves the range of motion of the joints in the body and strengthens the cardiorespiratory system.
Yoga increases my body awareness, concentration, and focus, promoting fast recovery time and enhancing my mood.
Yoga helps me release tension and build strength in overworked parts of my body. Let's practice.
We'll start with a neck stretch. From your seat of honor, lift your right arm and take your right hand to the left side of your head. Draw your right ear to your right shoulder. Maybe gaze up at the ceiling. This stretches the sternocleidomastoid muscle in the neck. You can take organic movement, maybe gently, slowly turning the chin down towards the chest or looking back up at the ceiling. If you find any spot that needs a little bit more attention, you can stay there. If you find that you'd like a deeper stretch, take your left hand off the thigh and start to walk it further away from your midline. When you exhale, allow yourself to fall deeper into this neck stretch. After your next natural exhale, take your left hand back to the left thigh. Slowly release the head and let the right hand come down to the right leg. Take your chin and turn over your left shoulder, come through center, and look over your right shoulder. Bring the chin back to the center. Left arm will elevate, and then bending the elbow, bring the left hand by the right ear, take your left ear to your left shoulder, and start to get this neck stretch. Gazing up at the ceiling for a moment, noticing if that feels good. Again, organic movement, listening to your body is always welcome. Take your time so that you feel like you're getting a nice neck stretch, and then if you'd like more, right hand comes off the right thigh, walking the hand further away from your midline. Use the breath as a tool. Exhales help you to deepen the stretch, while inhales give you a moment to soften. One more full breath here. Right hand can walk back to the right thigh. Left hand will release the head, and then take the chin down to the chest and invite some half circles or full circles if that feels good. If you do a full circle, make sure that you go to the right and to the left evenly. When you're ready, allow the neck to become neutral. We'll move into a supported seated forward fold. Take your legs out in front of you and grab a blanket for support. We'll roll the blanket like a tube and place it under the knee joints. Relax the legs down. This allows for a soft bend. If you'd like to use a strap, feel free to grab a strap. We're gonna flex the feet and keep the feet engaged. Elevate the arms overhead. If you're using your strap, you can strap the feet. Otherwise, we're hinging from the hips, reaching forward. We use what's called ocean wave breath. You can visualize ocean waves rolling up on the shore and back out into the ocean. Our exhale is like the waves coming up on shore. We reach a bit deeper. When you inhale, maybe allow yourself to soften as if those waves were rolling back into the ocean. Take your time and get 3 deep breaths in this pose. Try to move breath and body together, even if it's a millimeter change. Work to get a deeper stretch with your exhalations. After your next deep exhale, slowly draw your torso up, and we'll move the blanket and the strap out of the way, taking the soles of the feet together for bound ankle butterfly. As soles of the feet come together, we invite the heels to come in towards our midline. You might rock a little bit right and left to make sure that you feel grounded evenly through both glutes. Holding on to the feet or the ankles, we'll sit tall. We can have light flutters in the legs or matching the movement with the breath. Exhale, pushing the knees and the thighs down towards the earth, pausing, and then allowing them to relax on an inhale. You can take this pose for as long as you'd like, or add a forward fold, keeping the feet as they are. Place the hands above the feet and then gently walk forward, keeping the glutes grounded. Relax the neck, allow the neck to be an extension of your spine. Again, use your breath, those exhalations, to help you come deeper into the pose. After your next deep exhale, allow the hands to walk back, coming back to a tall seat. From your seat of honor, we'll take puppy pose with a tricep stretch. Take your blocks on the lowest height and put them to the top of your mat. You can take your folded blanket and put it under your knees. From a tabletop-like position, so we'll get the knees on the blanket and keep the knees stacked under the hips. We'll invite the elbows onto the blocks. Take your palms together and kind of like a shark fin, take the hand behind the neck. You'll keep those hips stacked over the knees and then allow your chest to melt down towards the earth. We want this to feel good on the triceps and the back. Take a nice full deep breath here, in and out. When you're ready, release the hand bind, let the hands come forward and slowly take yourself out of this pose. We'll move the props out of our way and come onto our belly for Sphinx pose. Align your ankles with your hips and point your toes into the mat. Bend your elbows at a 90-degree angle and get your elbows right under your shoulders. Wrists are aligned with the elbows and fingers are spread wide. Think about the four corners of the palm and press evenly into those four corners and your forearms. Open up your chest by rolling the shoulders back and let the chin be parallel to the earth. Find a gaze or a point of focus right in front of you. Press down through the tops of your feet so that your lower body is engaged and energized. Full deep breaths. Now we'll move with our breath. On your inhale, you'll be in this position. On your exhale, bend your right knee and look over your right shoulder. Match your movement with your breath. On an inhale, leg will come down and gaze will come forward. On an exhale, take the other leg, bending the left knee, looking over the left shoulder. And then nice and slow, this should be like a 6-second inhale and a 6-second exhale. Continue for 3 more rounds. Bending the knee, looking over the shoulder. One more time on each side. And then whenever you come back to neutral, you'll press through the tops of the toes again. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, find length in the spine. Moving into half frog pose. We'll take right hand on top of left, and we will take our right cheek down onto the top of those hands. We'll bend our left knee so that the knee comes up hip height, and we'll flex the foot so that the toes are pointed away from the midline. Take a few breaths here. Full 3-part inhales and full 3-part exhales. After your next exhale, allow the left leg to become straight. Take the left hand on top of the right and put the left cheek down on top of your hands. Bend your right knee so that the knee comes up as close to hip height. Again, flexing the foot, toes are pointing away from the midline. We can work to align ankle under knee and knee even with hip. Take a few deep breaths here. After your next natural exhalation, allow the leg to go straight and we'll move into grasshopper. Taking the hands down by the hips, palms will plant into the earth. Your chin or a cheek can come down to the mat. We're gonna ground through the upper body and we don't want any compression on the neck. So make sure that your neck feels good. We'll bend the right knee 90 degrees, flexing the foot, and invite the left leg to come on top of your right foot. We'll hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower everything down. Take a big breath in and out, and we'll do side 2. Bend the base knee, and then elevate the opposite leg, working to get the thigh on your flexed foot. Again, for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly let everything come down and take a big breath in and out. For half locust, we can keep the palms pressing into the mat or take hand over hand under the center of the pelvic bone. We're gonna keep the upper body grounded, chin or cheek. And on your next inhale, point your toes and lift just the lower body. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Melt down. You can sweep the arms back by the head, bending the elbows, creating a pillow for your cheek or your chin. We'll take gate and half circle poses. From being on your high knees, we'll take the left leg out into the side plane. Take a block or create a block stack in the right hand or underneath the right hand. You'll leave a gap from the right knee. Give yourself some space so that the block isn't right next to the knee. We'll extend the left leg as much as possible. If you need to keep a micro bend in your knee, you can. And then we'll point the left toes so that the whole foot is down on the ground. Keeping your right hip stacked over your right knee, right hand will come onto your block or your block stack. Left hand will sweep up and over, palm facing the earth. Feel a long pull of energy, like someone is helping you to stretch from your left wrist and your left ankle. And if you can gaze up at the ceiling, do that. Feel the nice long stretch in the left side body. We'll be here just for 3 and 2 and 1. We'll draw the torso up and now we'll flex the left foot. Move a block in front of your left calf. Right hand can come to the right hip, and then left hand will come to that block. Right hand will come up and over, bending the elbow. Keep the left toes flexed. Right fingertips will reach for the flexed left toes, and then work to stack the shoulders and look up at the ceiling. For 3 and 2 and 1. Slowly lift up. We'll bring that left knee in and align our left hip above the left knee. Take the right leg out into the side plane and get your block or your block stack under your left hand. Give it some space away from your left knee and then point your right toes down to the mat. Keep a micro bend in your knee if that feels safer. Left hand will come down onto the block and right arm will come up and over, rotate the palm to the ground, reach through the right fingertips. Imagine like someone's helping you to stretch from grounding your right ankle and lengthening through your right wrist. Feel the right side body stretch as you look up to the sky. 3, 2, and 1. Slowly draw the torso up and we'll move the block in front of the right calf. Flex the right foot. Right hand will come onto the block as the left hand moves from the hip, overhead, bending the left elbow, left fingers reaching towards the flexed right toes. Rotate and gaze up at the ceiling. Use your breath to deepen the stretch for 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come tall and right leg will come in. Grab your blocks. We're moving into half splits. So take a modified lunge, bringing the right leg forward. Take the blocks high, medium, or low height. We're going to straighten into the right leg, heel to the mat, and we're framing the right leg. Find or create a long spine. Remember, the neck is an extension of the spine. No compression in the back of the neck. Use your breath. So on your exhale, maybe you drop your heart down towards the right shin, giving yourself a nice hamstring stretch. Use your breath as a tool. Full deep breaths in and out. After your next exhalation, slowly draw your torso up and then come to that modified lunge, pause, and then right knee will come down, modified lunge on the left side. Take your time, blocks high, medium, or low as we extend through the left leg, flexing the left foot. Find length in the spine, and then use your breath to hinge from your hips. Relax the neck, deep and full breaths. After your next natural exhale, going as deep as you can, draw yourself up on an inhale, modified lunge to high knees. From crocodile, we'll take a shoulder stretch. Extend your right arm out so that your wrist is even with your shoulder, and take your blanket to prepare to give yourself some support for your neck. We don't want to have the head dropped to the earth in this pose. So right arm is extended, relax your head down on the blanket, and we'll invite the shoulder to come down on the mat. This is a great stretch for the anterior delt. Keep the right palm pressing into the mat, and we'll bend the left elbow, bringing the left hand in front of our left pec. Slowly rotate onto that right shoulder. You can bend the left knee and maybe take the left foot behind the right leg. Breathe here, and if it feels safe and good, you can elevate the left arm, bringing it up towards the sky to stack the shoulders. Take a few breaths here. Whenever you're ready, if that top hand is elevated, bring it down to the mat and then roll onto your belly. After being on the belly, you can slide the right hand in. Extending the left arm, wrist, shoulder height. Press into the left palm. Pause, and then slowly using the right hand, roll onto the left shoulder, bending the left knee, inviting the left foot behind the right leg. Breathe here, and if it feels safe, elevate the right hand up, stacking the shoulders. Take a few breaths. When you're ready, if the top arm is elevated, take it down to the mat and slowly move back to your belly. Bring both sets of hands in towards the chest and press up, maybe into a tabletop, just so that you can remove the blanket out of the way and prepare for a dolphin pose. Once the blanket's out of the way, we'll come onto the forearms and interlace the fingers with the pinky side of the hand down on the mat. Take the elbows out to create the top of a triangle. Gaze comes between your wrists, curl your toes under, and lift your hips high. You can step your feet towards your elbows if that feels good. And you can think about lifting the hips up and back, pressing the chest towards the thighs. Breathe here, hold here, or lift the right leg. Flex the foot and hold for 3, 2, 1. Switch legs, second elevation, lift for 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come down. Release the hand bind, we'll come into downward facing dog. Palms come to the mat, fingers spread wide. Lift the hips up and back, deep diagonal wrist to shoulder. And then walk the hands back towards the feet or just adjust yourself into a standing forward fold. Head and neck will go heavy. Think about the 4 corners of the feet under the big toe mound, pinky toe mound, inside, outside of the heel. Ground your weight evenly and then relax your neck completely, thinking of the top of the head reaching towards the earth. You can even take your hands behind your calves and then pull yourself in on an exhale to deepen the stretch. On an inhale, we'll take half forward fold. Hands can come to the shins. Engage the glutes, press back through the hamstrings and lengthen the spine, imagining that you're like balancing a glass of water or something on the back. We can actually think about the upper thighs moving further away from alignment with the ankles. Breathe into the hamstrings. Now for a couple breaths, use your exhale to fold forward completely, head, neck heavy, maybe grabbing the backs of the calves or reaching to the ground. And then on your natural inhale, find that halfway lift. Hands coming to the shins, engaging the glutes, pressing out through the hamstrings. Neck is an extension of the spine. Few more times, matching movement with breath. After your next completed round, you can either hinge or roll up to standing. Shoulders can roll back and relax the body. From standing, we'll move into Devyasana. Take a wide stance, a little bit wider than your shoulders, and turn the feet out about 45 degrees. We all have skeletal uniqueness, so really honor your own body as you take this position. We'll lift the arms, bending the elbows 90 degrees, working the wrists over the elbows even with the shoulders. Feel the energy through the fingers, and then bend into the knees, sinking down, but keeping the chest lifted, tall spine. We'll hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come tall, release the arms. From the top of your mat, step your right foot back, wide stance, perpendicular feet. Align the front heel with the middle of the back arch. Make sure all 5 of your left toes are pointing forward and your left knee is either stacked over the ankle or slightly behind. Check in, make sure that the left hip is directly in front of the right and that your weight is evenly distributed. Take a breath here with a tall spine. We'll lift the right arm overhead and take the left arm low. We'll bend the elbows and reach them for each other. You might just reach, you might grab your t-shirts, or you might find an arm bind. Keep the right elbow lifting up and hold this lower body warrior 2. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly release the arm bind and straighten into the front leg. We can heel, toe, and come back to the top of the mat. Here, we'll roll the shoulders back a few times and roll them forwards a few times. When you're ready, sweep the left foot back for side 2. Again, front heel aligns with the middle of the back arch, perpendicular feet, bending into the right knee, stacking or taking it slightly behind the ankle. Right hip is in front of the left. We're centering the torso and making sure our weight distribution is even. Take a big breath here. Left arm will lift high and right will go low. Bending the elbows, reaching the hands for each other, grabbing the t-shirt. or finding a bind. Nice full deep breaths here. Make sure that the front knee remains bent and the weight is even. Few moments. When you're ready, slowly release the arm bind, heel toe the feet forward, and then one more time, shoulders roll back a few times and roll forwards a few times. Coming to the center of your mat, we'll take our feet under the iliac crests or hip width apart, roll forward on the balls of the feet, back on the heels. Think about the four corners of the feet and ground. Even weight distribution, like you're rebounding up off the mat, feeling very light and grounded. Once we're solid, we'll sweep the arms forward at a diagonal and then bend into the knees, chair pose, thinking about pulling floorboards apart with the soles of the feet. Hands will come together at heart center. Look at your knees and make sure that they stay even. Right elbow is going to sweep to the outside of the left thigh. Check into those knees and then stretch through the spine, stack the shoulders, and look over your left shoulder. On your next inhale, slowly unwind, coming back to center, keeping those strong legs for a moment. Left elbow will now sweep to the outside of the right thigh. Again, look at the knees for a moment. Make sure one knee is not bending more than the other. And then settle into your twist. Long spine, stack the shoulders, look over your right shoulder. On your next inhale, slowly unwind, coming into that chair for a moment, coming tall. Take a relaxing stand. From standing, we'll go into standing splits. Plant the left foot and ground through the four corners of that foot. Have your blocks ready and have them as close to the foot as is comfortable for you. You can reach down to the blocks, maybe touching the ground, maybe having a hand or two on the left thigh. Point your right toes and elevate the right leg up to the sky. You can open the hip and then use your breath to come into the pose more deeply if that's possible. Chest can come down towards the left leg. It's important to keep a micro bend in that left knee to feel safe. And then keep pointing through the right toes. Every exhalation an opportunity to lift the right leg higher. We'll be here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly bring the right leg down, pause, maybe in a standing position, maybe in a forward fold, whatever feels good to you. And then take the four corners of the right foot, ground completely through that right foot, frame the right foot with the blocks if you're using them, hinge down, point the left toes as you lift the left leg into the air. Take a moment, settle in, make sure we're opening up through the hip. Base leg can have a micro bend. We're bringing our chest down towards that thigh, and then keep pointing the elevated foot and inviting that leg to lift for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly bring the leg down, coming back to standing. We're going into yogic squat. So you can stack the blocks on the low height, or maybe take one on a medium height, whatever serves you. Take your feet about mat width apart and let the toes turn out about 45 degrees. Take your hands to heart center. We'll bend into the knees and slowly come down to be seated on our block stack. From here we can adjust. So maybe the ankles come out further away from our midline. Maybe they're in front of the knees. Maybe they're stacked under the knees. We'll lengthen through the spine and take a full deep breath here. When you're ready, slowly make your way onto your glutes, onto the mat. Removing the blocks. We're going into supine pigeon or pigeon. If you're taking supine pigeon, you'll stay on your back and With the soles of the feet on the mat, we'll lift the right ankle, taking it over the left knee. If you're coming into pigeon, take your right shin towards the top of the mat. If you're on your back for supine, reach the arms right in between the legs, left on the outside of the left thigh, and then pull the left thigh in towards the chest as you relax the head and the upper body. Ocean wave breath can help so that every exhale, you're inviting that thigh to come a bit closer to the chest. If you're in pigeon with the hips facing the mat, glide the left leg back further, pointing the toes, pressing the metatarsals into the mat. We can stay tall if it feels good, or we can melt down onto our forearms, relaxing the neck, making sure there's no pressure in the neck. We'll be here for a few moments. When you're ready, slowly make your way out of this pose. If you're on your forearms, come onto your hands, curl the back toe under, and then slide the right leg back, coming into a tabletop. Going into the other side, left shin can come forward, and if you're on your back, left ankle will come above the right knee. Again, flex the feet. Right hand will come to the outside of the right thigh, left will come in between the legs. Pull the right thigh into the chest and make sure that the head and neck and back stay relaxed. With the left shin towards the top edge of the mat, you can slide your right leg back, pressing the right metatarsals into the mat, taking a moment to sit tall in the pose. And then again, maybe we melt down, coming onto the forearms if it feels safe and comfortable and the hips are squared. We'll take a few breaths here. And when you're ready, slowly breathe yourself out, curling the back toes under, coming into your tabletop, and pausing, taking a child's pose if you want. If you're on your back, you can take knees into the chest and hug your shins, gently rocking or being still. From seated, we'll take the hands behind the hips, fingertips pointing down towards the hips. We're gonna do a supine plank sequence. First, drive the hips up, getting the knees over the ankles, and then looking at knees, hips, chest as being even. Maybe relax the head back if it feels good on your neck. Really drive the hips up as much as you can. 3, 2, and 1. Melt the hips down. Take your right ankle over your left knee and flex your right foot. When you're ready, again, draw the hips up, working them to get as high as you can, even with the hips in the chest. Relax the neck if it feels good. 3, 2, and 1. Slowly melt the hips down. Plant your right foot and take your left ankle over your right knee. Flex the left foot, and when you're ready, draw the hips up, working knees, hips, chest into a same plane, relaxing the neck if it feels good. 3, 2, and 1. Slowly melt the hips down. Keeping the knees bent and the soles of the feet on the mat, lay onto your back so that the back of your head is on the mat, gazing straight up at the ceiling. We want to keep the ankles under the knees. We'll take the hands right by the hips, pressing the palms into the mat. For bridge pose, when you're ready, drive the hips up as you press into the arms and the palms. We'll be here for 3. Actually move the ankles right under the knees if possible. There. And we'll be here for 3, 2, and 1. Melt the hips down. This time we'll lift up and we'll take it just as we did. If it's in your practice, roll your shoulders underneath the chest, interlacing your fingers and straightening into the arms, pressing into the forearms to lift your hips high. Go ahead and lift the hips if they're not already. Breathe here, maybe roll the shoulders down a little bit more. 3, 2, and 1. Slowly release the arm bind and let the hips come down. Lastly, we'll invite the arms overhead. So the backs of the hands are gonna press into the mat. The arms can be long, but if you need to bend the elbows, that's fine. Press into the backs of the arms and the hands, and then drive the hips up. Ankles under knees. For 3, 2, and 1. Melt down, take the knees into the chest, and hug the shins for a moment. Relax and let the feet come back to the mat. They can stay aligned with the knees, or you can take your feet about mat width apart. We're gonna go into some windshield wipers that we want to feel good on the low back and the sacrum. So on an exhale, take both knees to the left side of your mat. Inhale, slowly take them up through center. Exhale them down over to the right. Continue to move with your breath. From your seat, we'll adjust so that both feet are facing the left side of the mat. This is going to be a double twist. We'll elevate the arms overhead. Right hand will come by your right hip and left hand will come above your right knee. Find length in the spine and then twist belly, ribs, chest, and shoulders. Your chin will turn back looking over your left shoulder. Eye gaze will come to your left knee. Use your breath to continue to twist the torso to the right and the head and the neck to the left. After your next complete exhale, slowly unwind. Lean back to safely allow the legs to float in front of you, and then take the feet over to the right. Adjust so that you feel grounded, and then elevate the arms overhead. Left hand comes by the left hip, right hand above the left knee. Find length in the spine, and then twist belly, ribs, chest, and shoulders. Turn the chin over your right shoulder and look at your right knee. Again, using the breath, continue to twist torso to the left, head and neck, even eye gaze to the right. After your next natural exhale, slowly unwind and safely bring the legs out in front of you. We're gonna do a supine twist now. So start to lean back. We'll bend the left knee, bringing the left heel towards the left glute. Your right hand will reach to bind with your left foot, and if you need a strap, that's fine. You'll let both shoulders ground on the mat, and then bend the right knee. Left hand can help take the right leg over to the left side of the mat, deepening your supine spinal twist. Gaze can be up at the sky, over your right shoulder, or over your left shoulder. Take a few moments and breathe here. When you're ready, slowly unwind, and we'll go on to side 2. Bending the right knee, right heel comes towards the right glute, and left hand will reach down for that right foot. Roll the shoulders onto the mat. Get comfortable and then bend the left knee. Right hand can help the left knee to twist over to the right side of the mat. Just make sure you're keeping both shoulders grounded. Again, gaze can be up to the sky, over the right shoulder, or over the left. We'll breathe here. When you're ready, slowly make your way out of this and grab your 2 blocks for supported fish pose. We want the thoracic spine to be higher than the head. So we'll take one block medium height to support the spine and one block low height to support the head. Make sure that your glutes are grounded. We can take the ankles mat width apart and allow the feet to relax. Since this is a supported posture, we're just letting gravity help us in this pose. Allow the chest to open up and the shoulders to roll back, relaxing the arms, letting the palms face the sky. Relax the muscles in the face and close the eyes. Come back to your 3-part breath, filling belly, middle ribs, upper chest on your inhales, and exhaling top of the chest, middle ribs, and core on your exhales. Relax here for a few moments. We hope that you found these postures helpful for your practice, and remember, just because these are some good poses to help those of you who play football, these poses can be used and taken by anybody for overall health and wellness. Thank you. Namaste.